Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I am Jeanevarose. I am an artist, dancer, and speaker, and here on my channel you can find everything related to that. In this video, I'm going to be talking all about my vegan journey, why I started, why it's so important to me, the health benefits, and yeah, all things related to being vegan. This September of this year, 2020, makes it 4 years vegan. So I've officially been 4 years vegan, and truly amazing, but we'll get into all of that. So how it began, like how did I become vegan, like when did the journey start? Well, it started 4 years ago, and really prior to that I really wasn't like I didn't have any dietary restrictions. I ate everything. I ate lots of dairy, lots of chicken, lots of meat. Throughout the years though, I definitely didn't really eat like bacon and pork, and like I didn't really eat burgers and stuff. So I feel like my body was slowly over time, which I feel like happens to all of us. Our bodies just kind of don't want certain things over time. We just kind of evolve physically and we just no longer want those things. But prior to being vegan, I pretty much just ate everything. Lots of seafood, lots of chicken. Hot wings were probably my favorite thing in this world, to be honest. But before that, like just probably the year or two before that, I did start to become a lot more mindful of my diet, and I was starting to like actually think about it for the first time in my life. For me, it was always like the cheaper the better, like, oh, it's $2, oh, that's mine. And now to even think that I used to like think like that when it comes to my diet is crazy. But anyways, that's pretty much how I used to think. But I was beginning to make the effort to eat cleaner and just to pay attention more to what I was actually putting inside of my body, which is why I even got to the point of thinking of being vegan. Right before that, I had been thinking about being vegan for like months. Pretty much the year before being vegan, I really was thinking about it, and it just kept popping up everywhere. It was just like vegan, and I just really just felt like I couldn't do it. There was no way, like at that point in my life, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be vegan, like not right now. I feel like in the future, I'll definitely be able to do that when I can make those dietary restrictions and I can make those financial obligations to a better diet. I was like, I will do it. But in that moment and in that time, in that mindset, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do it now because I'm just not at that point in my life. But I did really want to, and I was seriously thinking about it. I was just kind of avoiding taking it seriously, because once you take it seriously, like you can't go back. I mean, you can go back, but you're still going to be changed forever. And I knew that. Even if it wasn't fully conscious yet, it was still subconscious of like, wow, like I do kind of want to be vegan. I want to see what this is about. So one day I just got super inspired to watch things about vegan activism, and specifically this guy he's a very popular vegan activist, and he's super amazing. His name is Yourosky, and I will link his video that I watched in the description box below. It has millions of views. It's really amazing and can change your life as it did mine. And I watched that, and he basically talks about like the myth of what we've been fed basically like here in, you know, Western culture in America, about, you know, what we need to be healthy and what we need in our diet. And he talks about what actually happens in the dairy industry and what happens to animals as a whole, as, you know, like what really happens to them. And he shows things and he talks about things and he breaks it down in such a way that you just really get it and you really feel it. And I really felt it. And I just totally broke down. I was crying and I was so upset, and I was crying because one, of what happens to the animals, and then I was also upset because it was just like, wow, I have been, you know, hurting my body unconsciously, or just been unaware of how I could take care of it the best way, simply because like that's what we've been conditioned and brainwashed to believe. And in that moment, I just decided right then and there to go cold turkey. I was like, that's it. I'm going vegan right now, this is it, this is what's happening. And that's exactly what I did that moment. I remember I had pasta from one of my favorite Italian restaurants in the fridge, and ooh, I was just like, throw it out, throw it out. I just was so determined to just do it right then and there, because it was like, to me, it was like, how am I gonna go eat cheese tomorrow and be like, oh, I'll go vegan next week, I'll go vegan in next month, I'll go vegan next year, I'll go vegan in 2 weeks, I'll go vegan when I feel like it, basically, is what I was just subconsciously telling myself. And then I just was like, no, I'm just gonna do it now. I see how there's another way of living that's actually better for me and more aligned for my body. I see how I can help the environment, how I can, you know, contribute to not harming and killing animals. I see how I can contribute to that. I was like, I am now, like, I'm in the awareness. It is my obligation to change now. After that was, of course, the journey began. You know, it was like my first year of being vegan. To talk a little bit about that, the first year of being vegan was definitely the hardest year, because you don't realize till you're actually vegan, or you actually make that change to like cut out dairy or whatever, how much like milk and eggs in like everything, and so many things you think, oh, I'll just get no cheese or no milk, and it's like literally in it, like there's no way of getting around it. And it was just like my whole life had to change, because I could no longer stay in the comfortability of like just going to the restaurants that I always used to go to, or like making the meals that I was always so used to making or having. You know, it was like I really had to change. For me, my first year being vegan was definitely the hardest, because I didn't have the proper knowledge also, which is what I want to also talk about in this video. I didn't have the proper knowledge, like what I really needed nutritionally. I was just kind of eating the best that I could, but I really wasn't eating food that was like nutrient dense. I didn't know like my macronutrients and like my micronutrients. I really had no idea of any of those things, or like you need carbs, proteins, omega-3s, like all these things. I had no idea. So I was just like, I was in that stage of Oreos are vegan. Oh my God, I can have Oreos. I definitely went through the phases in the first year where it was just like, I just ate a lot of vegan fast food. I did eat meals, but they were like, I ate a lot of pasta or just like beans and rice, which, I mean, not horrible. There's, you know, protein in beans, so that's a great thing. But it was like the most simple, boring meals. I didn't have like full knowledge of like how great being vegan could be and how amazing food could actually taste once I like dove deep. You know, the first year, of course, I changed so much, but in that second year is really when I started to shift, and I started to actually take the time to study nutrition. I was doing that in the first year of being vegan, but nothing compared to when I realized it was like I basically had to become my own nutritionist. There was no way around it. I was just trying to figure out what works best for me and what my body needed. And through that time, I really started to change, because I just started to listen to my body more. And that's when I really feel like within that first to 2 year span is when I really started to feel the emotional changes of being vegan. I began to feel this like shift of all these emotions that I felt were suppressed, all this love that I had for animals, for nature, for the outside connection of life. It felt like it had been so suppressed in my diet, in, you know, my connection to myself, basically. Because when it really comes down to it, when you're eating whole foods, when you're eating plant-based, you're eating the way your body was intended to thrive. You're eating the foods that comes from the same soil that, you know, you come from. To be real, you're eating something that's a reflection of source. So you are source, eating food made from source. The two together are literally magic, as opposed to when you're eating the energy of a dead animal, or you're eating food that's heavily processed or, you know, full of chemicals and GMOs and just pesticides and just food that your body is not made to ingest or digest, when you take that out and you stop eating it and how much you change, I really began to change. It was crazy. It was like I just had all this love for animals again, which I always had love. It wasn't like I hated animals or something, but it was like I had this deep passion to fight for them was ignited. This feeling of, wow, they are voiceless. This feeling of, wow, I never needed to eat like that my whole life. I was just so used to it. I really had to recreate my relationship with food, how I related to it, what was the fuel that it really gave me. I wasn't just eating just for pleasure anymore, which is a lot of times what we're all doing. We're eating because something tastes good, not really thinking, what does my body need right now? What is the fuel that I need? Do I need to be hydrated? So I need fresh fruits and veggies in a salad. Do I need something heavier? So I need a burger. I need carbs. I need potatoes. You know, what really listening to your body. I had to learn what that was and find realistic recipes, which is still something that's hard to do, especially with, you know, the way Instagram and how everything is aesthetically, everything is just so perfect looking, and, you know, people just have this show for what it looks like every time you make food. So I feel like sometimes it can make veganism look so abstract or so hard and difficult, because you're seeing these bloggers and these, you know, YouTubers, these Instagrammers like make this food that just looks like such a masterpiece, which it is, but it's not really showing you the real of like, what is your food going to look like on a daily, which is going to look different for every single person. Listening to your body, finding what works for you, what feels best for you, what tastes best for you. That's going to work different for every single person. And it's about not giving into your conditioned patterns of eating meat and dairy. If you think about it, if you were to have never eaten meat or dairy, never been conditioned to want it or to feel like it's a necessary part of your diet, would you even want it? Would you even eat meat if you couldn't put all the seasonings and sauces that you put on top of it? Would you even eat meat if you had to go out and physically kill the animal yourself and cook it and clean it and do all of that? Would you eat dairy if you had to go through the process of getting the dairy always from the animals and killing the animals? Would you do that? Would you do that? You can retrain your mind, recondition your mind and your body to want plant-based foods. And naturally, if you were to go plant-based, it's going to happen over time. Just as I'm sure a lot of you watching this video never thought you'd even be interested in learning about a plant-based life or learning about what being vegan is, but some way or another you've been called or you've been drawn to find out what it's about, how it can benefit you, and how it can help change you and the world around you. You didn't always think that was possible. For a lot of us, we didn't always think, as I was talking about before, I didn't think it was going to be possible. I didn't think it was something that was for me. I just didn't think it was me. I thought it was something outside of me. It was like, oh, that's awesome that other people do that, but that's not a me thing, until I realized, well, who is this me that you're referring to? This me that I'm referring to is the me that has to be reconditioned, has to reconnect to its truth of nutrition, of wellness, of health, of wealth, of vitality. And that's something that we all have to do when we go through this journey of being vegan and really just deciding to have a cleaner diet overall. It's about you putting wellness and health and wealth to the forefront of your mind before you eat and drink and do pretty much anything. It's really about being conscious, deciding and thinking, because you're so conditioned to just being like, oh man, I'm hungry, let me go through the drive-thru and grab something so easy, instead of thinking, well, hold up, maybe that's probably not the best meal for me. And I know you're wondering, as you should be wondering, where am I going to get all my macro and micronutrients from? Where am I going to get iron from? My omega-3s, my carbs, my protein, my B12. Where am I going to get all of this nutrients that my body literally needs to be alive, essentially, to basically be alive, to breathe, to move, to feel, to have healthy hair, to have healthy bones, to have healthy skin? What are all of these things? And really just to feel good, to not feel like you're depleting, because that's what happens a lot of times if someone doesn't know how to properly feed themselves on a plant-based or vegan diet. They can kind of just lose weight, and they might not feel as strong or have as much energy because they're literally not feeding themselves what they need. But in actuality, we can get everything we need. We can get our iron, we can get our omegas, we can get carbs, we can get fats, we can get proteins, we can get everything we need from beans, potatoes, greens, fruits, vegetables, berries, grains, nuts. We can literally get everything we need basically from our land, from Mother Earth, from being vegan, from living a plant-based diet. It's just about us taking the time to find out what are those things that our body needs, which is why I wanted to share my vegan journey, because throughout those first couple years, that's basically all it was, is figuring out what does my body need? What's going to feel good for me? What is literally going to fuel me? What's going to taste good? Because I'm a foodie. Okay, I'm a foodie. I love my food. If food's not good, it's really depressing. Food that tastes good but also feels good for our body. So like I was saying before, it's about retraining your mind to find that truth and to recreate your relationship with food and recreate that narrative that you have for yourself about what food is for you and how it fuels you and how you connect to the world around you as well, mainly animals and our environment and Mother Earth. If we all just took the time to inform ourselves, to research, to read, to obtain the knowledge necessary to understand what it takes to sustain a vegan diet, then we would feel confident with our choice to have a vegan diet. But it's no wonder most of us don't feel confident or knowledgeable when we've been conditioned to believe otherwise, that we need a dominant meat and dairy diet to feel good and to fuel us. The temporary sacrifices that you will make, that we will all make, which is basically the sacrifice that you make is the uncomfortability of going through the process of starting and becoming vegan. The uncomfortable part is the beginning phase, but with anything, the journey starts with that first step. So you have to get through that uncomfortable part. You have to get through that. Your body's basically purging everything that it's known. It's purging everything that it's known physically and mentally to fuel it. You have to give yourself the space for that, but make that sacrifice to make yourself feel better and be better and make this world a better place. It's no joke when they say that being vegan could literally change the world. It can. It can reconnect us back to animals, back to nature. It can help agriculture, help our water consumption, help save the lives of millions and millions of animals. Being vegan is so much more than just, not eating meat and dairy. It's about how you can change the world and how you can change the world within yourself if you just make the effort and you just make that first step. It's truly, I don't want to say easy, but it's easier when you just get started and you just make the effort and you make your meals exciting and creative, and you get excited about nutrition and you get excited about wellness and taking care of yourself and also taking care of others, because you do benefit others. If I weren't vegan, I wouldn't be able to share this with you. I wouldn't be able to share my journey with you. I wouldn't be able to be vegan for 4 years and to help other people be vegan just like every other vegan person. All of us are here together with each other to help one another. So being vegan truly not only helps you, but everything and everyone else. We have the power to make the change, but we first have to make the effort. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found some useful, vital information that can help shift and change your life. I would not be the me that you see right now if I didn't go vegan, if I didn't go plant-based. I have become a more whole, happy, healthier version of myself. And of course, that's due to a lot of different factors, but being vegan is one of the huge ones that I'm so grateful for, and it's changed my life, and I will never, ever go back. I will never be anything else except vegan and plant-based. You know, I want a tattoo I want a vegan tattoo. That's how serious I am. But truthfully, I really hope that you guys connected to this and enjoyed this. If you are interested in more videos like this from me about maybe more, I can go in more in depth about the benefits of going vegan, the fallacies of having a meat and dairy diet, what they tell you. If you would like me to go more in depth or maybe share more things about going vegan, let me know in the comments below, and I'd love to share that. I'm all about being vegan and vegan activism, so I'm really passionate about that. So I'd love to share more of my journey and just more of being vegan in general. So thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope you loved it. I will see you guys very, very soon. Peace.